Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kenny Sparks, and I'm here to have my Wednesday night live stream. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about three specific topics. Three specific topics, mainly because I'm still sick. I am so sick. I may not sound like it, or maybe I do sound like it to you guys, but I'm sick as hell. I've been running through a cold for like a week and some change, so it's been rough, but that's neither here nor there. We got so much stuff to talk about tonight, or three things I should say. We're going to talk about Star Wars: The Acolyte, Episode 3. We're going to talk about the Sony buying the Alamo Draft House, and also some things that I've really been thinking about all day since that has happened, and whether or not that's a good thing. And we're also going to be doing a ranking of the four Bad Boy movies. Now, so I'm really excited to get into this with you guys. Like I said, had a rough week, but I am so happy to be here. And let's just say hi to our guys who are here and gals when you join. So we have first and foremost my guy, always here early. Love when he does that. 80s kid from the 90s. So happy to see you here, dude. I'm so excited to talk to you about the Acolyte because I know that you have a lot of thoughts about it. Also, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the evening show. Yes, welcome to the evening show. So yeah, excited about that. So where's Kenny? I'm here. I'm here. I'm sorry. I had a little bit of a slow internet situation that I had to fix. So thankfully I got that resolved. Turn off your hardware acceleration if you ever go live. Otherwise, it's going to be a nightmare. Yo, the Ace Avenue. What up, Ace? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining, man. I'm excited to talk to you about the Acolyte as well. We're going to get to that as our second topic, so I'm really looking forward to getting into that with you guys. Actually, you know what? You guys let me know. Should we do that second or should we do that third? Because I know for a fact we're going to. You know what? I'm making an executive decision. We're going to do that third because I know we're going to spend a lot of time on it. How's Jedi Master Sparks? I'm quite well. I'm well with the Force or the Thread, if you will, depending on where you're from. You know what I mean? Different cultures see the Force different ways, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And hey, Collective Movie Man, what's up? What's up, man? Thank you so much for being here. So excited to see you. And Ace, yo, this dude, yo, thank you so much for gifting another membership to the show. Man, I'm super grateful for you, dude. I really appreciate you doing that. Yeah, man, could not be more grateful for people like you, man. Mowing the lawn while you're streaming, I haven't seen Acolyte episode 3, so I gotta dip whenever y'all do that. That'll be the last topic that we cover, but we're gonna get to it relatively quickly because I'm really only trying to stream for maybe like an hour and a half because I'm trying to see the finals. I'm trying to see game 3 tonight. So I will be trying to not speed through it, try to still give you guys some value, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to see if Luka can get one before probably the Celtics ended. In probably 5, maybe. Who knows? Blade is getting new script. Script writer, they did. Oh, the script writer did Black Widow. That's interesting. So they're getting like, is this as of today? They're getting a brand new script writer because if that's Mahershala is about to deuce out. That dude is a two-time Oscar-winning actor, and you don't just hold up people like that. I know he came to them with the idea for the project, but I don't think it's a good idea to have a 50-year-old man who's trying to play an action role. I don't think it's a good idea to hold that person up. And if you know Mahershala, if you like, I don't know him personally, but he doesn't seem like the type of person to suffer fools well. Like he's not just going to wait around and just be like, all right, I'll wait until 55 for you guys to get it out. Because if they haven't filmed it now and they're doing another rewrite, this movie won't be out until he's like 52, maybe. So yeah. Thoughts on Chestnut versus Kobayashi coming to Netflix? I got to be honest with you, Hizzy. Hey, I'm not familiar with that project at all. I apologize, but yeah, I'm not familiar. Uh, oh yes, it's trending. Oh wow, that is unfortunate. I don't think Mahershala is going to stick around for this. I don't think he's going to stick around for it at all. So that's kind of wild. Collective Movie Man said, "I've had a very long day. Woke up at 5:45 a.m. I had to be at the hospital by 7 a.m. I had an MRI appointment at 10 a.m. and they put me completely out and had me on the breathe." Well, dude, I'm so happy that you're like healthy enough to be up and functioning. And man, I really hope that you have a good recovery because, geez, that sounds rough, man. I'm glad to see that you're here and that you got your faculties about you, bro. Oh, and it was under anesthesia. Yeah, like yeah, man. I'm happy to see that you're. I hope that you're in recovery and you're doing well, man. Seriously. Oh, Joey Chestnut. Yeah, so I didn't actually see what that was about, but I saw that like the little bit about it that I know, which I'm telling you was very little, is that was he banned for doing other types of like eating contests? They're like you can't do hot dog eating contests and donut eating. Like they were saying, like you have to choose one. I don't know if that's like I only saw it at a glance, but if that's let that man eat what he want to eat in his other competitions. But yeah, so I don't know if that's the case, but I certainly hope not because that sounds foolish. I'm a fan of your acolyte theory. Well, I'll talk about that. Let's hold on to that until we get to the acolyte. Um, oh yeah, and Collector Movie Man says, "I hope you feel better." Also, Kenny. Well, yeah, man. I want to get over this sickness is this cold as quickly as possible because it's not fun. But yeah, so with that, let's actually get to my first main topic of tonight, and then I'll address the rest of your comments like throughout the rest of the stream. I'm not going to be making you guys wait until the end of the stream to get to your questions anymore, unless in this particular case it's about the acolyte because I'm gonna get to the acolyte in its own dedicated section. But let's get to the first story that we have here. And in order to do that, I want to start the theme for it. Let me make sure this thing's off loop so it don't loop. All right. And let me actually take this comment down. And this is going to be very impactful because we're talking about like the state of we're talking about the state of different theaters or the state of theaters in general. And let us hold on. One, two, three. Is that missing? 1 second, guys. I think I have one thing that's very important missing. I don't know how I missed that. Okay. All right. All right. That is okay. Sorry, guys. A little bit of maintenance here. And good. Okay. So now we can get to our story that had nothing to do with what I was just doing. Um, in other news, so in other news, it was just funny because we haven't done any other news tonight. But in other news, we're going to talk about Sony acquiring the Alamo Draft House. Now, let's talk really quickly through what Variety had to say about this. Variety actually posted this earlier, or Variety put out an article about this earlier. And Sony Pictures acquires Alamo Draft House Theater. Sony Entertainment has acquired Alamo Draft House Cinema, the theater chain that inspired a passionate following with its creative cocktails, extensive food menus, and strict no talking, no texting policy. The media company acquired Alamo Draft House from its owners, Altamont Capital Partners, Fortress Investment Group, and its founder, Tim League. Under its new ownership, Alamo Draft House will be managed under a newly established division, Sony Picture Experiences. In a press release touting the sale, the company said it reinforces Sony Pictures Entertainment's long commitment to theatrical exhibition and continued initiatives in experimental entertainment. Alamo has been quietly soliciting other offers for past several months, but had struggled to find a buyer. Now, this is interesting for several different reasons, right? Number one, just 2 or 3 days ago, a friend of mine sent me an article saying that Alamo Draft House had closed. And I was like, oh man, that sucks. It sucks when theater chains closes. And the reason why it sucks when theater chains close, especially ones people actually love, is because now you have fewer options, or it'll be acquired by typically another movie theater that has a it takes away your ability to have, like, maybe I like AMC theaters more, or maybe I like Regal or United Artists or different types of theaters like that offer different types of experience. So it always sucks when movie theaters go out of business. Personally, I love going to the movies, so the more theaters, the better different experiences and stuff like that, right? So it was a sad day to hear Alamo, which isn't even in Philly, I don't believe. Like, I don't even know if there's any Alamos on the East Coast. I think it's more of like a West Coast, Midwest kind of thing. But yeah, there's none on this coast, right? So hearing that it was going out of business, sad day. But now hearing that Sony has acquired Alamo Theaters actually makes this situation a lot more interesting. And here's the reason why. When I was talking to my friends about this earlier in a Discord that I have, or that I'm part of, I should say, I was telling them, like, yo, I didn't think movie studios could acquire. I didn't think movie studios could acquire movie theater chains because there was a law in place that prevented that. And the reason why that law was in place was because it helps uh, destroy any kind of monopolizing that a movie studio could do, right? So, for example, if Disney were to buy all of AMC, what would stop them from, like, just what would stop them from taking away or limiting the amount of screens that a Warner Brothers production has in favor of Cars 7? So, like, let's say if the new Justice League movie were to come out, and then Cars 7 had been in the theater for 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. What's to stop Disney from saying, I don't want Justice League to do well, so you know what? We're going to limit the amount of theaters that Justice League is in, and then we're going to put Cars 7, that's been in theaters for like 7 weeks, in our IMAX theater. We're not even going to offer IMAX for Justice League. If you don't think that businesses are that petty, you're wrong, because they will. And then I was sent an article from a friend, actually the same friend that told me about Alamo Draft House, telling me this news that actually happened all the way back in 2020. I'm going to read this to you. It's a little bit of a lot of reading, but we're going to get through it together, right? From the Dallas Observer back in 2020, they reported for more than 70 years, most big movie studios have been banned from owning movie theaters thanks to a ruling in a federal antitrust case. That's no longer true. The Paramount consent decrees were established by a landmark Supreme Court ruling in 1948 in U.S. versus Paramount Pictures. The decree banned major studios of the day from owning and operating movie theaters. Last Friday, a federal judge, now keep in mind this is in 2020. Last Friday, a federal judge in the Southern District of New York ended the decrees according to court documents. The U.S. Department of Justice, the U.S. Department of, I can't talk. The U.S. Department of Justice filed its case in 1938 to counter studio monopolies of both film production and exhibition in 1938. The case aimed to prevent 8 major motion picture companies from gaining a stranglehold on film distribution and ticket prices. Last year, the DOJ announced it would pursue legal measures to overturn these decrees. Now, here's the most interesting part of this, especially considering the fact that Alamo Draft House is the theater that was purchased. Bill DeGaetano, Bill Bill DeGaetano, Bill DeGaetano, the owner of the Alamo Draft House DFW chain of movie theaters, says he's been keeping an eye on the ruling, but he's not too concerned about the immediate impact on regional and independent film theater chains. With the global pandemic, now is not a great time for owning theaters, But when it's over, people will want to get out of the house. I don't think there's a threat of studios right now opening their own theaters with the global pandemic. Now it's not a great time for owning theaters when people want to get out of the house. I don't know why I have that there twice. So what I find to be really interesting is he's saying, well, let's go down the line first. One, that ruling was in place so that a studio like Disney, just like I said, would not be able to buy AMC because Disney has the money to buy AMC and just say, hey, I know you're putting out Justice League. Hey, I know you're putting out Star Trek. We're going to put those theaters in regular. We're going to put those movies in regular theaters or auditoriums, and you're never going to see IMAX. And now I own pretty much a stranglehold on all of the theaters in which you would want to be in. AMC is a huge theater company. It's not the one that was purchased, but if Disney sees this and say, maybe we can capitalize on this by having Disney events here, and we can set our own ticket prices. And most theaters, they do set their own ticket prices in one way or another. But now we can say, oh, you want to pay $20 for Justice League? Why don't you come and see Spider-Man? Or I know that's Sony, but why don't you, or in this case, it is Sony. Why don't you come and see Spider-Man for $13, right? For in IMAX. So there's so many different ways there's so many different ways in which this can impact the movie industry. And that's why I think that the purchasing of the Alamo Draft House, and also my friend, excuse me, also my friend Zach Attack Reviews pointed out to me earlier that Netflix already owns their own theaters to showcase their movies. I think this trend, if it becomes a trend of studios owning theaters, can be dangerous for us, the consumer, because now we have less choice, we have less equity in what we can actually go and see. And a studio like Disney, I'm not just pointing out Disney, Warner Brothers could buy AMC as well and say, you're never going to see your Marvel movies on the big screen or your Star Wars movies. You'll see them on the regular screen, but you won't see them over here. So I'm really curious as to what others in the comments think. I'll get to your comments in a second about this. But to me, this is not a good sign. And I think by 2030 that the movie theater industry is going to look very different. It could look very different by 2026 or hell, next year. So yeah, let's see what your comments have to say about this, and we will get to it. All right. I should probably do this as well. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. Pardon me, I'm sick. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about the Alamo Draft House being purchased by Sony and what it could mean for the future of movie theater chains and whether or not you're comfortable with big studios purchasing movie theaters. So talk to you guys next time. All right, so let's get to it. Sorry, guys, just had to do that real quick. Okay. Megatron, this is my planet now. Who would you be without me? Optimus Prime, let's find out. That bit is awesome. What's that from, buddy? I'm not sure which movie that's from. Chestnut is banned because of his sponsorship of Impossible brands isn't allowed. So like vegetarian brands. So is this like a vegetarian brand versus meatitarian war kind of thing? And Joey Chestnut got caught up in the middle? Because if it is, that sounds wild. His guy says they only closed in Texas initially, which is crazy because the Alamo. That's wild. Yeah, I don't have any of those here in Michigan, Alamo Draft House. Yeah, I don't have any of them in Philly either. Please, no more sequels. If anything, we need an Incredibles 3 where they're grown up or a Monsters Inc. 2. So do you want sequels or do you not want sequels? Because if you're saying no more sequels and you want Incredibles 3, I'm not sure which way you're going with it. The Collector Movie Man says, that would be so wrong if movie studios could do that. Unfortunately, since the law was overturned back in 2020, which is crazy because that happened that was 4 years ago during the pandemic. They can absolutely do that. So yeah, yeah. A lot of times I feel like Disney wants to buy everything. Well, yeah, I mean, part of keeping his shareholders happy is making business moves that will bring them more money. Investors are never good with the status quo. They only want more money for their investment. It's unfortunate, but it's part of being in business. I would be very upset if movie studios bought theaters and only put like their movies in theaters. I know my mom would stop going to movie theaters. Yeah, like so that's the fear or the concern I should say with movie theaters just buying up. So if you have a Regal or if you have an AMC and they just buy up all the theater chains, they can have a chokehold on what movies are played and what movies aren't played. There's nothing preventing them from doing that. And you may say to yourself, well, won't you cost yourself money if you do that? Not necessarily. Like you can still put the if you have the power and people want to see it, then they will pay whatever it is that they will pay for whatever it is that you have. The lack of options forces people to just take whatever they can get. And then if you actually set the digital release to certain movies back out to almost 6 months, which is what they used to be. Sometimes a year back in the VHS days, you can really put a stranglehold on other businesses who you know are doing well, right, or aren't doing well. So, and you can choke out small chains and force them to sell to you. Like, so let's say that Disney buys AMC or Warner Brothers buys AMC. I'm not just picking on Disney, right? And they're like, man, and I know Warner Brothers wouldn't do this because they have a deal with A24, but let's say they're like, man, these A24 movies, I think we would like them, but they won't sell them to us. Let's do this. Let me buy this theater chain, or I have this theater chain already, and let's just only put one showing a week of Love Lies Bleeding or of Civil War, which they paid a lot of money for. Eventually, MC is going to be like, hey, man, this isn't good for business. We can't continue to sell or we can't continue to make movies if these theater chains aren't showing them, right? And then what's A24 going to end up doing? They're going to end up selling because or closing their doors, even worse. So I personally don't think it's a good idea for studios to own theater chains. I think that's a good. I think that was a good separation of power, so to speak. Um, yeah, we in this bitch. Yo, what's up, Zach? Happy to have you here, man. Hope you had a good day, dude. Hey, Zach. Oh, people saying hi to each other. I'm comfortable as long as they have regulations. It seems like the regulations are loose now. Unfortunately, it seems like the regulations are loose. And I think the one thing that they probably won't do is they're not going to say, hey, you can own theater chains, but now introduce new regulation saying, but you have to show a fair amount of movies or a fair amount of screens. And the reason why they won't do that is because that's the entire reason why that original law was written in the first place. And as we can see, it looks more and more like giving power over to businesses that seem very overbearing is the trend more than I don't know what the opposite of the word trend is, but it's more of a trend than not, right? Or is more the rule than the exception, if you will. Hey, Dave. Hey, Dave. It's from Dark of the Moon, the final film of the trilogy. I really like Dark of the Moon. Well, let me say this. I like the third act of Dark of the Moon. I like the third act of Revenge of the Fallen. It's getting to that point of the movie. That's the difficult part. If this does happen, my guess would be AMC, Disney, Netflix, Cinemark, Regal, Paramount. Cinemark already has a deal with Netflix. Disney tried to buy AMC, and whatever PT is in 5 years will make hits. Yeah, yeah, man. So it could get hairy. That's going to be bad. What happens when Disney has no movies out for a few months? You know what they do? They play the classics. You put Lion King from '94 in the theater. Guess who's going to be there? not just me who loves the Lion King, but it's a whole bunch of people that's going to be in that joint. Me, you, and Zabumafu, as well as like Little Mermaid. They do what they used to do, which is like the Disney Vault, where they would sell the movie for a while, right, and then close up the vault and say we're not selling this anymore. And then they would open up for a little bit, only put out a few physical media copies, like just enough to whet people's appetite and get people crazy over it. And then they would close it in the vault forever again. It was always kind of, it wasn't always a revolving door, but you wouldn't see it for years, right? Now you put Lion King 1994 back in theaters. Disney has such a huge catalog of movies, and now they own Fox as well. They could just say, hey, let's just play the classics, play the classics. Also, to this question, there's never going to be a time in which Disney isn't going to have some, hell, they might end up putting stuff like the Acolyte in theaters, right? So, yeah. And I know a lot of times my mom doesn't like to see some of the movies I go see. She'll go see a movie that she wants to see, like when I go see Bad Boys 4. Makes sense? Uh, the, the, she went to go see Fall Guy and actually enjoyed it. If she wasn't able to have an opinion or an option and go see a movie she wanted to see, she'd be upset. Yeah, I think a lot of people would be upset with that, including myself. And sorry, so hey, what's up, Sully Streams? Congratulations on your wedding, man. Happy marriage, dude. So excited for you. So happy for you. You said, what's up, Kenny? Do you think episode 3 of Acolyte ruins Star Wars as much as some say? Coming from someone that was a mega Star Wars fan and have no interest in the Disney stuff, I'm worried. It ain't ruined a gosh darn thing. Like, people who say stuff like that, honestly, don't, like, they just have no real grip on reality. And the reason why I say it doesn't ruin Star Wars is because you can go and watch the old movies if you want to. Like, you still have the original trilogy, you still have the prequels, you still have the sequels, you still have whatever else that you want to watch. If this is ruining Star Wars, which I didn't see anything in this show that's ruining Star Wars. You may not like the show, totally fair. You may not like any of the Disney shows, totally fair. Like, it can't ruin Star Wars unless I don't unless we find out that like Luke Skywalker was a clone of an amphibian warlord from the outer space in the Star Trek universe. I don't see how it could ruin Star Wars, right? So, and to me, and we'll talk about this later on because I'm gonna review it, Star Wars, in a little bit. And yeah, so actually, this is the last comment I'll answer is here, and then I'm going to go into the second thing because then we'll get to the Star Wars. Yeah, I never go out of my way to actively hate on something for no reason, but Disney just made me completely lose interest. Haven't seen season 3 of Mando, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and stop at Boba Fett finale. Well, here's the thing: I don't blame you for stopping at Boba Fett at all because Boba Fett was god awful. I hated Boba Fett, right, with a passion. But Mando season 3 was cool. Ahsoka was also cool. And Obi-Wan had a lot of ups and downs. I love the fights between Obi-Wan and Vader, but other than that, I didn't think that they handled that show well at all. So right now, Star Wars is not in a place for me personally of everything's awful. Star Wars is in a place right now for me of everything's cool. It's solid. It's not like, excuse me, pardon me, still sick here. It's not in a place where it's like it's just utter garbage. I just feel like everything's fine. And I think that some people's expectation for Star Wars specifically is that every outing that they have to be miraculous, the greatest Star Wars thing that they've ever seen, which for any kind of studio is difficult to do. But it's not to say that they don't have, it's not to say that Star Wars hasn't had issues and problems and could be better, because it could. But I don't see the ruining Star Wars thing. Zach says, and this is the last one I'll say before I move on. Issue though, Alamo Draft House was getting ready to go bankrupt and maybe close down, so it's a catch-22. Well, yes, I agree with that. I kind of mentioned that like when I first started reading the story and talking about the story that they were about to go out of business, like, or they filed for bankruptcy literally like 2 days ago. Um, but it's like, hey, the Lakers really need a point guard, and the point guard just got injured. This might be a terrible analogy. A point guard just got injured. It's going terrible. Okay, Golden State just sent them Steph Curry. It's like, yo, pardon me, yo, what are you doing? Like that, like the league would like turn upside down, kind of thing. Although I know all of those players I just mentioned are up in age in the Lakers, but you guys, it's the KD to the Warriors thing. It's like you guys have too much power now. It's not as fun anymore unless you're a Warriors fan or unless you're a stockholder or a business fan. Like it's not fun anymore. So it's kind of a catch-22 because they're going out of business. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like, hey, Toys R Us is coming back, but we are only selling Barbie. We're not selling Transformers anymore. It's kind of like when it's, oh, okay, Toys R Us is back, but they're not. But they're not back. These are terrible analogies. I know. So I wish I had some water on me because I need some. Do I not? Oh, the key to life, water. Pardon me. Okay, so I'm back. All right. So let me get to the next thing, which is, hold on. We're going to rank, or I'm going to rank all four Bad Boys movies. I'm going to get a little bit of a blurb of why I've placed them where they are, and then I'm going to just rank them. So let's go here. Right? I don't have a ranking intro. I probably should have one. So you know what? Let's go with this. So in this particular video, we're going to rank all four Bad Boys movies. That's Bad Boys 1, Bad Boys 2, Bad Boys 4 Life, which should have been the fourth one, and Bad Boys Ride or Die. Bad Boys Ride or Die just came out this past weekend. It's a movie I thoroughly enjoyed. Not the greatest movie in the world, but what movie is these days? I enjoyed Bad Boys Ride or Die. And I enjoyed it so much that I am excited to talk about all four Bad Boys movies. And I have a lineup of all four. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of why I like each one. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit of why I like each one. And then I'm going to move on to the next one. So let's start out very quickly, very fastly with number 4. And oops, got to move to the side a little bit so I can, yeah. You guys like the setup? It's kind of dope, right? Yep. Okay. Number 4. So number 4 for me is personally in Bad Boys for Life, which should have been the fourth one in the franchise. Bad Boys for Life was, I want to say, 17 years after Bad Boys 2. Bad Boys 2 came out in 2003. Bad Boys for Life came out in 2020. And Bad Boys for Life is a movie that I thought was a good start to this new phase of the Bad Boys career. It introduced Armando, Will's son, who he had with a witch. It had good action. It had good comedy. It was still funny, but you could still tell that our main characters of Mike Lowry as well as Marcus Burnett were a little sluggish, or I should say their actors were. And I think that going into the next movie that we'll talk about, that they started to pick up their stride. This movie, it took a lot of risk, killed Captain Howard off, which I was very surprised and shocked about. But at the same time, I think taking risks like that, especially this late in the franchise, is necessary because you don't want to continue to play it safe. So Bad Boys 3 or Bad Boys for Life is my fourth movie in this franchise. It was cool, but at the same time, it could have been better, which is why I'm so glad that we got number 3. death. Turn this over this way a little bit, and here we go. Bang. So let me actually plug my phone in real quick before this drawing dies. All right. This, okay. So number three, and pardon me. So number three in our Bad Boys for Life ranking countdown is actually Bad Boys Ride or Die that just came out this past week. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. This film was funny as hell from start to finish. It did have a slow beginning, but overall I enjoyed it. I love one of the things I love a lot about this movie is where we go with Mike Lowry's new status in life. And I'm not going to spoil the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I did like the fact that he has a new relationship status. He's also undergoing some PTSD as well as some panic attacks. And I think that this is a good change for this character who was once known as Bulletproof Mike. Now we get to see him as Vulnerable Mike. And I thought that that was a really good change. I also absolutely loved Reggie's scene in this movie. Reggie is a freaking awesome character that I did not see coming all the way to this point, from his short appearance in Bad Boys 2, his short appearance in Bad Boys for Life, and now in Bad Boys Ride or Die. He has an awesome scene that really feels like a payoff that I never knew we needed. And at our number two, I also had excuse me. And at our number two, I have Bad Boys, the original, the one that started it all. Bad Boys came out in 1995. It was starring the star of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and the star of Martin, two of the biggest sitcoms of all time in the 90s specifically. And it's two stars coming together. Seemed like a match made in heaven. It was a risk for both of them at the time, and it absolutely paid off. Their banter was amazing throughout the entire film. And it did something really interesting in which it took its two main leads and switched their identities in a way not like many other movies where you see like two people switch personalities like Face Off, but it actually did something that you would typically see in a sequel, in that one character had to play along as the other. And I thought that was a risk, and it was a risk that paid off. And we had a great villain in Pouchet who was suave as hell and mean as hell. And once we see that first murder in the beginning of the movie, it sets the stakes for the rest of the film. And I just thought Bad Boys was one of the greatest 90s action movies to come out. And a surprise, at least for me. I mean, I was 5 in 95. So I was really enamored by that movie when I finally got to see it. Seeing R-rated movies in your ones, I guess, if you're 5, I guess that's your double digits. It was great. I absolutely loved it. So let's get on to obviously our number one movie. And at pardon me, this is the glory of editing, because after this is over, I'm going to edit this and put it out. And our number one movie is Bad Boys 2. Bad Boys 2 has some of the best one-liners and punchlines in this entire franchise. The devil is not welcome here. You know what I mean? And then we also have that great action scene on the bridge where for some reason Marcus sticks his head out as the car is flipping over the car that Mike is driving on the highway chase. And then Captain Howard at the end of that said, how do you crash a boat on a highway? And then we have Woosah. I swear to you, Woosah, the way we say it today, came from Bad Boys 2. And then we had a great villain in Johnny Tapia, who was great. And we had Gabrielle Union as well, playing Marcus's sister. This movie is an all-timer. It's one of the best action movies I've ever seen funny as hell, improves the characters. Even though one quirky thing, this is supposed to be a year later from Bad Boys 1, even though Bad Boys 1 came out in 95 and Bad Boys 2 came out in 2003. And you could tell by the different camera styles and the way it was shot and the quality of the camera that this wasn't what just happened or transpired a year later. So Bad Boys 2 is my number one Bad Boys movie. And let me know what you guys think about my list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What is your order? Let me know, and I'll talk to you guys next time. So, guys, I got to tell you, I'm shocked that I got through that as quickly as I did because I'd be Stutter McGee, as you guys can see. But yeah, let me know in the comments. What do you guys think is the best Bad Boys movie? As a matter of fact, I should probably put a poll up and have you guys vote for that. So let me do that right now. Give me 1 second. Let me hook up this poll as you guys talk amongst yourselves. And the one thing I am concerned about, pardon me, aha, is this charger. My phone's about to die, so that's not good. Let's see if this charger works. Nope. Okay, so that's not bueno. Let's do this. One second, y'all. 1 second. And we back like cook crack. Okay, so sorry, I had a little bit of a snafu. It's weird where you try to plug in your phone, but absolutely nothing is charging your phone. So thank you guys for holding on for a second. I appreciate y'all. All right, so let's get to these comments, and then we'll start talking about the Acolyte. 1 second. There we go. This is the last thing I needed to do. Okay. Let's fix this audio up. Audio is good. Let's go. All right, let's get to these comments. Dot, dot, dot. All right. Okay. We're going to move through these quickly so we can get to the Acolyte, and then we'll be good to go. All right. Thoughts on saving money to buy older Transformers toys for the most part. Some of the stuff from today is good, but sheesh, they are asking for more than what you're paying for. Also, there are no sound effects. Yeah, I had a little bit of an issue there. Yeah, like if you can get to it. I'm sorry, I never put the poll up. I'm not going to at this point because it's going to require a lot. But yeah, essentially, if you can afford it, then go for it and purchase it. I wouldn't necessarily say to just not buy it. I know that collectibles can be expensive right now, but if you can safely afford it without putting yourself in financial debt or danger, go for it. Thoughts? Yep. Hey, Kenny Spurs, you're talking about the Acolyte. I am going to do spoilers, or there will be spoilers. If you go based off Star Wars fans, the franchise has been ruined about a dozen times over. That is accurate. Everybody's definition of ruined is completely different. So I don't believe Star Wars has been ruined. I'm still interested in Star Wars. And if you're not, like, if you think it's ruined, you can stop participating. That's always an option for you, right? I do believe in that as well. Boba Fett rules. Hey man, if you love Boba Fett, love it with all your heart. I'm not going to judge you. Okay, yeah, Boba Fett was terrible. Obi-Wan was decent. There are some few good episodes, and especially the very last episode. Yeah, I like the ones with the Mando. Other than that, I wasn't really into it. According to those extreme hardcore fans, it's been ruined since Empire. Yep, 100%. Pop, hey, what's up, sup? I hope you're able to remain. I know I was going through some stuff there. The best Star Wars show on Disney Plus is Andor. It's more adult based. I'm glad that you enjoy Andor as much as you do. I wish you the best with that. It wasn't for me. That's what I can tell you. I guess I'm not an extreme hardcore fan because I enjoy stuff like Rebels, Acolyte, Jedi prequels, Rogue One, and Solo. Yeah, I want to say I enjoy all of those. I would say the only Star Wars project I flat out do not enjoy is probably Book of Boba Fett. Everything else is like, hey, I'm in it. I'm not showing anybody Book of Nerfed Fett. Pardon me. I'm not showing anybody Book of Nerf Fett feature Mandalorian and the Vespa kids. The Vespas were a choice. Yeah. Slowly shooting. Yep. Have you watched Andor? I want to think Fett died getting eaten alive by a Sandmaster. Yeah, I mean that's if you want to think that way, you certainly can. Collecting Movie Man says I really enjoy Bad Boys 4. Yeah, so did I. I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. I think my second favorite Bad Boys movie. Yeah, dope. That's what's up. Hey, what's up, Scottish Geek Guy? Happy to have you here. Sorry for the weirdness there, but I appreciate you. My ranking would actually be release order, I reckon. Okay. Yeah, so you're going 1 to 4. All right. So does that mean there's one that you actually like really don't like? Because what I'll say about the Bad Boys 4 movies that I ranked, I like all of those movies. I thoroughly enjoy all of those films. Like there's not one where, oh yeah, like number 3 is ranked 4th. That doesn't mean I don't like that movie. It just means I don't like the movie as much as the others, right? Damn, that Black Plague got you. Yo, man, I'm I'm trying to survive out here. Where do you rank the prequel film Good Boy? Yo, what's funny about that is I was actually reminded that Gabrielle Union had her own spin-off TV show. I think it was called like Detectives in Miami or something like that. I was on Letterboxd, like looking at someone's Bad Boys rankings, and they listed Gabrielle Union's show in it. I was like, wait, that's right. She did have a show. I'm not sure how many seasons it lasted, but yeah, there's actually a fifth Bad Boys universe entry. Reggie killed it, 100%. Yep, literally lit and fig, as I used to say when I was young. Fresh Prince of Bel Air was a great show, man. Yeah, yeah, it was, man. And here we go. Once anyway, we can't hear you. My bad. Mic is off. Mic is off. Mic is off. Okay, so how's everyone doing in the chat? Zach is my guy. Much appreciated. Uh, the, the, You guys are awesome. I'm so sorry that I was going through all that stuff. My boy is back. That's what's up. I appreciate you, man. It's going to be 94 degrees on Monday here in Michigan and 96 degrees on Tuesday in Michigan. Yikes. Um, yeah, Zach, are you going to have a special meal for Sunday for House of Dragons? I'm having pizza and salad and a pop. Dope. I'm actually really looking forward to House of Dragon this weekend as well. I'm also looking forward to The Boys, I think is this week. And then I think it's what, June 27th, The Bear comes out. This is going to be a great month for television. And it's going to be wild to see how television either adds or possibly takes away dollars from the theaters, because the theaters need as much money as they need right now. How do we rank stuff on the Letterboxd app? I can show you that later on offline. I can't do that right here, right now, but I'll definitely get to that and show you that. So let's get to our main event, which is talking about Star Wars, the Acolyte Episode 3. I'm going to reset my situation here. Pardon me. Real quick. Layouts. Real quick. 1 second. All right. So we're back. Okay. And I'm going to put my background on for this, which is here. It's the Acolyte. There we go. At least she's peeking a little bit to the side there. And let us start talking about the Acolyte episode 3. You guys ready? Let's go. Wait, actually, let me take this down. And Collective Movie Man, sorry, I am going to be talking about spoilers here. Um, if you have to go, I totally understand, but this will be a spoiler conversation. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, so now we talk about the Acolyte episode 3. This is going to be a full spoiler conversation. So if you haven't seen the episode, I'm warning you right now, you might want to head out and come back later. But yeah, let's talk about the Acolyte. And real quick, just going to put up one thing here, just to make sure we know what we're doing. There we go. Wow. That should do it. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's start that over. Okay, so now is our conversation about the Acolyte. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this and what I think about episode three of season one. If this is going to be just season one, it might be a mini series. It might make it out to another season. But essentially, for me, I honestly had mixed feelings about the Acolyte season three. And those mixed feelings aren't because I think the show is bad. I actually think the show is pretty solid. And I want to say that the show is solid. It's not great. It's not bad. It's not awful. It's not terrible. I don't find it to be any of those super hyperbolic words that have been used to describe the show. I think the show is solid. And one of the things I really enjoyed about this particular episode is us getting a full backstory to what happened with Osha and May and how that played out into what's going on in their future. I really enjoyed learning about where they came from, their culture, their mothers, mother, I forget the one mother's name. I'll look her up real quick because there's a important theory that I have about the mothers and where they're going to be and what they're going to mean like going forward. So give me 1 second. Let me pull up the cast so I can get the name of those characters. And who we have here? We have Mother Anissa and oh, the other one's missing. I believe it's Mother. Ah, why is the other one missing? Okay, that's interesting. This is like they just took her off afterwards because I just saw her recently. All right, let me check because I know where I put that mother's name at before. Had my own little acolyte spoiler conversation with some friends earlier, and Coral, Mother Coral. Yeah, so the acolyte Coral, Mother Coral, as well as Mother Ionisa, we got to meet them, the mothers of Osha and May. And I actually thought that these two characters, as well as that whole coven of what we find out later to be witches, was really interesting. And the interesting thing I found about them, which I think is the reason why a lot of people are saying that it's ruined Star Wars, is that these witches and the Coven have a very different understanding and belief system surrounding the Force. And I think that this different belief system surrounding the Force is actually more interesting than detrimental to the legacy of Star Wars or to the story of Star Wars. Because honestly, in this gigantic galaxy full of aliens, monsters, planets, and systems and thought processes and ways of belief and all this other good stuff, I don't see how the force would only be thought of in one way, right? There's plenty of opportunity for people to interpret this very force of nature or force that surrounds us and all of us and all that kind of stuff in different ways. So the way in which the witches interpret the force is through like the thread is something that they also believe is through all of us and can be used by all of us, but at the same time, I don't believe that they feel as though this is something that they should just be used or just is something that is just guiding us and things of that nature, right? So I thoroughly believe that it's better for Star Wars if we have different interpretations about this force. And I'm seeing all these happy birthday. Oh, Ace, this dude Ace, man, he is something special. I'm gonna stop real quick and just say, Mario 45G, thank you so much for the belated birthday. Um, Ash Morton, thank you so much for the belated birthday. I really appreciate you. Um, yeah, I'll get to this real quick, 80s kid. I just want to say thank you to Donnie Clages. I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. This is an Ace Raid. Happy birthday, but thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Ace Raid, happy belated birthday. Thank you so much, Real Blip. Real Bill P. I said Real Blip. My bad. um, Daquan Minor, happy, hey sir, happy belated birthday. You're getting rated by Mr. A's. Go Yankees, go Phillies. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you guys hear me coughing, I'm sick. But Ace, Raid, happy belated birthday. Thank you so much, Mario. Baseball lover 123. Thank you so much as well. Happy belated birthday. You said thank you. MNY 5506. Happy belated birthday, Ace Ray. Go Yankees. Appreciate y'all, man. Sarah Small. Uh, Happy belated birthday, Ace Ray. Thank you so much. Y'all making this old man happy, man. I appreciate y'all. Ace Ray, happy birthday again. I appreciate you. JD Sanford, Ace Ray, happy belated birthday. Thank you. Uh, uh, we going. FBI raid. I hope not. FBI raid from D Rod. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Um, Sarah Small, I subbed and like you. Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate that. You that means the world. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who's coming in from the Ace gang. I thoroughly, or the Ace Avenue, I should say. I thoroughly appreciate y'all. Ace, Ray, happy belated birthday. Let's go Yankees. Yeah, Ace sent us. Yo, Ace is that dude, man. I appreciate him more than he knows. Happy belated birthday! Thank you so much. Yo, this is overwhelmingly awesome, and I appreciate y'all. Yeah, Ace is the best, and said how great you are. Yo, that means a lot. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, Donnie. Uh, NYJ fan 17. Ace Ray, happy belated birthday. Thank you so much. Good luck on your Jets this year. Hope everybody stays healthy. Good luck with Hassan Reddick. Yeah, I mean, good luck. Uh, hey, you're not old. You're living longer. Thank you so much. Yo, y'all are the best. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all coming in and rating the stream. This is the best type of raid someone could receive. Yeah, yeah. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. I could not be more appreciative of y'all. Could not be more appreciative of Ace. It's not every day that you get shown love like this, and I really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I'm going to start talking about Star Wars, the Acolyte, Episode 3. So if you guys haven't seen it and don't want to be spoiled, um, I appreciate y'all coming through, but I'm going to be talking spoilers about it. But yeah, thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Uh, yeah, yeah, that was great. That was fantastic. And Donnie Clages says, or Clages, my bad, says, I'll sell you your stream and hit that like button. Thank you so much again. I appreciate y'all, yo. Seriously, I much appreciate it. But yeah, I'm gonna just address my guy. Uh, uh, I'm gonna star these so I can come back to them real quick. 80s kid, I am gonna get to all your comments here. Whoops, almost deleted your comment. My bad. Yep, gonna get to all these, and I know you had one more here. Okay, I think I got all of them. Cool, 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 cool. Sub and Star Wars fan, also awesome. Let me know what you think about the Acolyte. Um, So yeah, so what I was saying about the Acolyte is I really like thoroughly believe that this is not a show or an episode of anything that's on Star Wars. I also saw someone say that it's the worst episode of Star Wars that they've ever seen. Have you seen the Jack Black and Lizzo episode from Mandalorian season 3? Or have you seen any of the episodes except for the Mandalorian episodes from Book of Boba Fett? Calm down, relax. And one of the things I thoroughly enjoyed about this episode, as I was stating before, is the different cultures that are seeing the Force in different ways. I found that to be very interesting. Now, what's also interesting about this particular episode is that we have the twins of Osha as well as May, and they have two different, very different outlooks on life and what they want to be a part of, right? So May, she wants to continue to be with the Coven. She wants to continue in that tradition. And Osha is like, I think I'm meant for something more. And she wants to go out and explore. She doesn't just want to be tied down to the Coven, which I can completely understand. Sometimes, especially when you're so bound to one thing, you want to go out and stretch your legs and see what else is out there, right? And it's unfortunate that May felt so threatened by Osha leaving. I thought that May was threatened by loneliness, about being the only child that's in uh, that's in this coven, or being the only child in the coven. That she was like, "Yo, I'd rather you die than for you to leave me," right? And that's some real dark side energy. So I can see how she ended up on that side, but I'm not entirely sure that all of the women in that witch's coven are part of the dark side. Like, it was heavily leaned or interpreted that they're part, or hinted at that they're part of the dark side, but I don't necessarily know that, because I will say that Mother Ayanisa is a fantastic parent. Like, she had her desires for Osha, but at the end of the day, she allowed Osha to make her own decision about who she wanted to be, right? And I think that that's a sign of a good parent. Now, on the other side, we have the Jedi. The Jedi are really interesting in the show, and I find that what's most interesting is that, yes, the show is called The Acolyte. So people were expecting to go into this show and seeing the Jedi from a positive perspective. I think you were fooling yourself. This show is supposed to be from the perspective of the people who are directly like in conflict with the Jedi. And that's something that you see. So you don't always see, pardon me, so you don't always see the Jedi in a positive light in the show, and you shouldn't either. And the reason why I'm okay with not seeing these Jedi as super holier than thou figures in the Star Wars universe is because I don't like seeing any of my heroes as super holier than thou figures, right? Yes, they're heroes. Yes, their decisions are meant to be the best for the galaxy. But I don't believe that that means that they are incapable of being shady. I made this comparison last week, and I've been making this comparison since the show started. My favorite universe, cinematic universe right now, is not Star Wars, it's actually the MCU, right? One of the best characters in the MCU is Tony Stark. What's one thing that Tony Stark consistently did, even though he was a hero, was put everybody in danger? And this is not just before he reformed his life and turned into Tony Stark. This was after he did it. If you guys remember, in the MCU, Tony Stark is the one who built Ultron. He was the one who caused the Civil War. He was behind all of that, but he's still seen as a hero because we know in his heart, in his in his pardon, we know in his arc reactor heart, pardon, we know that in his arc reactor heart that he means well, right? So I have no problem with the Jedi being examined in this way, especially in the show that's supposed to be from the Sith perspective. Like, this that makes sense, right? So other than that, man, I want to talk about like the ending of this episode, which is the fire. The fire. Oh no, actually, before we get there, I also want to talk about the test that the Jedi had them take. And before they even got to the test, the approach that the Jedi took with like approaching the COVID. I thought the Jedi were out of pocket the entire time. They were spying on this Coven. They never came up and just tried to make a relationship with these people. They never even tried to like approach them. Hey, like, we see that we believe that you're using these powers. We believe that you have children here. They were sneaking around even before like the first confrontation between the two of them. You saw Soul sneaking around the two young girls at and when they were walking around in the forest area, which was gorgeous, by the way. So I think that oh yeah, and continuing that, like when they do finally confront them at the Coven's place, which I think is a Coven, you also see that they're a little bit forceful with the way that they're talking or asking or inquiring about the children. Right? They're like, "Hey, we have rights. We have the right to test these children." And he's saying that to Mother Ionisa and Mother Crow. And I think that like that ain't the approach. So I honestly believe that that is the reason why so many of the Jedi are feared or despised by the Coven is because of their approach. It's possible that they became bullies at one point in time, and this is that point in time that they're actually showing. So I'm of the mindset that yes, this is like we love the Jedi, but they make mistakes, and I think that one of the mistakes were made was in their approach to how they approach the Coven. Now, continuing on, I also want to say that when OSHA and when OSHA and May go to take the test, how the Coven told them, "Hey, if you want to stay, you got to lie," and I think that's because they fear the Jedi will just snatch your kids. So I found that to be really interesting, and I'm not ready to throw away this part of. I'm not ready to throw away the show because it's challenging our thoughts and perspective on the Jedi. But fast forwarding because I'm about to get to you guys' comments. This is the last thing I'll say about it. Pardon me. Fast forwarding because I want to get to your guys' comments, and this is the last thing I'll say about it. I want to talk about the fire that May causes. The fire that May causes is really interesting because I don't think that that small fire that she lit outside of her and OSHA's room is what caused all that damage. And here's my theory of what happened. Throughout the entire episode, you can see that Mother Kroll or Mother Krill. Let's go back one more time and check that name. Coral, my bad. Throughout that entire episode, you can see that Mother Coral was very antagonistic towards the Jedi, very antagonistic towards Mother Aisha, not Aisha, very antagonistic towards uh, very antagonistic towards Mother Anasia. Like I think that she was the real culprit behind the fall of the Coven and all that fire and destruction that took place. Her body was never found during this the escape from this destruction. She was never even seen after that, and it's also weird to me that that May got the gumption to set everything on fire and they didn't find either one of their bodies. Right? You saw Mother Ionisa as they're escaping the Coven. You saw her body. You saw Osha cry out for her as Soul picks her up and runs off. Right? So to me, it makes sense because was under the belief in episode 2 that Osha was dead. Right? And at the end of episode 1, there was someone with a red lightsaber on the dark side who was leading and controlling, or yeah, who was leading. May was on the dark side, and she was the person who was leading uh, uh, May, right? And I'm sorry, yeah, May, not May. May was being led by this dark side figure, and I believe that dark side figure that we saw at the end of season or episode 1 was actually Mother Coral. And yeah, and she has like the horns, that the same horns that Darth Maul had. I'm not gonna say everybody with those horns are like evil because that's kind of specious, racist, whatever you want to call it. But a lot of it points to her being the person who is responsible for the destruction and who's leading May and probably lied to May and told her that Osha died. So I'm really interested in seeing where this is going. I don't believe that this show is great. I don't believe it's bad. I believe it's solid. It's good enough for me to watch week to week, right? And that's where my thoughts are with it. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are, and I will talk to you guys next time. But not you guys in the stream. I'm talking to you guys right now. And let me get to these comments. And I know I have a bunch of star comments from 80s Kid, so let's get to those. Oh, Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Yes, sir. Um, there was a that was a song by Bill Murray. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. From SNL '77. Dope. Soul Patrol. Yeah, I like Soul. I think Soul. I think he's the one Jedi who I believe is a lot more conflicted about all this damage and stuff that's going on than anybody else. So I kind of I respect him on that level. I do think that there is a lot of potential for Soul to end up being the person who resolves all of this for. Well, I'm sorry, I have to mute something real quick. I do believe that Soul is the person who resolves all of this for us, right? And I don't honestly, I don't think Soul makes it out of the show at all, right? The Iridian Zabrak Witch Lady is very suspicious. I agree. I agree. Very suspicious. I think the episode was Osha's view, and next week is May's view of things. That's interesting. Honestly, personally, I hope not, because I don't think that we should wait. What do we only have? We only have what, 6 episodes of this show? Hopefully 8, but I believe it's 6. I wouldn't want to. I don't want to say waste, but I wouldn't want to spend another episode looking at the different points of view. I was talking about May's point of view after all of these events happen. I think that'll be interesting, but I think that if they do that, they should splice it between a bunch of different episodes, right? I don't think that they should do that as like just one full episode. Or maybe May's view in a few weeks. I don't know. So many questions. Yeah, there's a lot of questions. Lots and lots of questions. Some fans want Star Wars to be small when they're talking about galaxies. That is a great, great, great statement, 80s kid. That is a phenomenal statement, and I totally agree with that. And also said, I forgot about the Life Day sequel with Jack Black. Hilarious, yo. Absolutely hilarious. Tony Stank. Yep. Uh, I think Yoda is a part of the problem. That's interesting. Why do you think that? Because I don't think Yoda is going to show up in this show at all. Even though he's definitely around at this time, he's for sure around. I believe in this theory. I believe in this theory, but also her kind is from Iridania, Iridania, just like Eth Koth and Agent Kolar, where Maul is from Dathomir. It's very strange how they're the same species but not, just like Vulcans. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Someone Romulus, someone the other one, I forget, Ramus, and Romulans. Yep. Yeah, so or Vulcans and Romulans, right? So yeah, I think that she is. I think that Mother Aridonis. Nope. Yeah, Aridonis. I think that Mother Coral is the Sith or the dark side or the dark force user at the end of episode 1. I believe that she told May that Osha was dead, and she raised May to go out and kill the Jedi that wronged them, that she believes wronged them. I think that that is what's going on here, and I think that's what we're going to find out in a few episodes. So yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the show. Like I said, it's not the greatest thing in the world. It's also not terrible. It's a solid show. I enjoy it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to end the stream. I want to say in about 5 minutes I'll end the stream. But unless you guys have any other questions, yeah, just let me know what you think. I'll be here for a good 5 minutes until 1:25 or an hour and 25 in. And I also give it like 60 seconds. If there's no more questions, I'll just close down the stream, and that'll be our episode for today. Yep. Cool. What is your favorite Transformers movie? I want to say my favorite Transformers movie is probably the first one, not the animated one, but the very first Transformers movie. I thought that it did a good job of establishing these characters. There's certain things about the Transformers themselves that I don't like as much, like the all the exposed gear kind of thing. I like when they're kind of solid and blocky. I know I'm getting super nerdy on that, but I like the first one a lot. I think the second one is no. I think the second one, the last uh, 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes of Rise of the Fallen is really good, and I think the third act of Dark of the Moon is also really good. The other two that Michael Bay did with Wahlberg are awful, but I do like Bumblebee. I do like the Bumblebee movie. And I did like Rise of the Beast. I do like those two films as well. But other than that, man, I'm just you know, I would love for them to come out with some new ones that are better. But as of right now, I don't really see it. So, um, yeah, but the GI Joe versus Transformers movie that they're proposing, I'm into it, but I do think it's weird that they're doing it without an established GI Joe team yet, as far as cast wise and having their own movie before they do a crossover. I think it's weird. I don't count the Wahlberg movies in my head. I get that those movies are not good whatsoever. There's no redeemable quality of those films, in my opinion. I do not enjoy those films. I can tell you that right now. But yeah, well, y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with the sick guy tonight. I appreciate y'all. It's been a weird stream, but at the same time, I thought it was worth it. And yeah, thank you guys all for stopping by. Um, yeah, man, and I will see you guys next time. See, have a good night, 80s kid. Peace. I have to click the other button that says end stream.